What is up, nerds? We're back again with another video. Today, there's gonna be part two of basically just making fun of the entire thing of Marlow's, situation. I'm going to assume that she has to upload something about all this, because like at this point, there's there's a lot of people speaking their opinions about it. Some are on the side of cheating, some are on the side of, oh, she's innocent, and then there's people like me, and Flo, for example, they're neutral about it. They're like, okay, well, like my opinion is this and this. However, if it leads to this or leads to that, then like it is what it is, whatever. So I'm obviously neutral on this. My opinion. I don't think she's cheating, nor do I believe it's that big of a deal for her to be. Well, actually, I take that wholeheartedly back. That was idiotic of me to say. So again, like I really don't care if she is cheating or whatever, because like I just play the game. Like I just play the game. I don't give a shit. I just play with my friends, have fun with the game, and just PvP. That's about it. So, anyways, yeah. So this is part two of my previous video of the whole, dumb commentary thing I made, and this is me just first time reacting to this. At first I was going to re-react to Critically's video, but but honestly, I don't want to. I'm going to re-react. Not re-react. I'm going to react to this that I have not seen before at all. So, anyways, let's begin.
Marlow, the number one player in the world, renowned for his skill in every game mode and being miles ahead of everyone else. Not one person even coming close to her in skill, and inspiring a whole community of thousands of players. In her story as a struggling player, hated by everyone, a player who rose to the top. But did she earn her spot?
Now, for me, at first, I was like, okay, well, she deserved her spot, because the first time I heard of Marlowe was probably beginning of 2025 or mid of 2025, because like I didn't even know about PvP tiers or anything of that, because apparently this drama happened like back in what 20 between 2020 and 2021, I guess, which I didn't even have a PC or laptop back then for that matter, like I was still on my phone on Bedrock, just chess competing against other players who had controllers or whatever, just solely on Bedrock, that was then, I didn't know anything about this at all. So but like like when I did find out, eventually I did watch the video of her expressing herself on what she had to go through. And honestly, like the amount of bullshit she went through during her, testing to do this and that, was all, bullshit and all kind of, very retarded, because like why, like the amount of people who, who try to slander her and who try to do this and that to her and all that, all because she's better at them in the game is wild to me. It's wild. No, nobody should deserve to really, get hacked, get freaking cyberbullied, all because you're just better at the game. But again, who knows, because this is 2026 is completely different. So who knows? We'll see. The manipulation of Marlowe. Introduction.
If you've been on YouTube for the past couple of days, I'm sure you've noticed the sudden rise of people accusating the number one player in PvP, Marlow, and especially the video from Critically titled The Art of Deception. I highly recommend watching his video if you haven't yet, but
Okay, so I already watched this already, and so my end opinion on like on this video right here, the art deception, I honestly need more evidence to really say that okay, she's cheating, because like majority of the stuff that that critically has said, like for example the part where her and Rapture kind of, you know, they get flown randomly across the player. But honestly, I have seen that and that has happened to myself too on multiple occasions, because like sometimes my ping would kind of spike up randomly, and and when my friend or an opponent hits me, I'll sometimes get flung back pretty far away. I just fly, or when I'm like exchanging blows, or crits, in sword, sometimes my ping will again just like just randomly spike up, and then all of a sudden I fly across, their heads for some odd reason, So again, I just don't, like I need more solid evidence. So hopefully this video would help me into this, help me into this loophole that I wanna, make fun of.
Stay tuned on this one, because this one dives much deeper into every single act. This video comes
I'll
from
probably
a
watch that
logical
later.
standpoint in my perspective, mentioning her flaws, corrupt acts, and the irrational basis that she is so much greater than every other player in every game mode. Because being miles ahead of everyone else in a game like Minecraft PvP means you have every single game mode perfected down to a T, but also beyond that.
Now, being good at every game mode is honestly not. It really is not an easy thing to do. Cause I'm decent at majority of the kits. I'm not good at everything, because the only main kit that I'm genuinely actually good at is mainly sword. I'm decent at pot, at net pot, at UHC, SMP. I'm kind of getting there, but I still need to work on that. However, crystal and mace, are my main kryptonite, my main weaknesses. I hate those kits with a passion because of the fact that it requires more tactical skills. It requires more agility with your fingers on the freaking hotkeys, which is hard for me to do majority of times, and I can't really coordinate to really save my life on things. So yeah. So again, being good at every game mode is very, very, very hard because of the amount of hours you have to put into it. The amount of hours you have to play and whatever. And then I have watched Flo's video, by the way, and he made good points too. And that's why I'm kind of neutral on this as well. Because honestly, I don't think she's cheating because I'm going to take Flo's word for this because Flo and her are apparently friends. I think and he stated that like she has put in a lot of hours on how to do this and that, and yeah, so, but again, this video could prove me wrong. More videos coming up could also prove me wrong too. Like, oh, okay, well, she's definitely cheating. Well, I'm like, okay, well, that's it then.
Doesn't sound realistic, does it? This video is combined into three parts on how she manipulated an entire community into defending her,
Okay,
believing in her skills,
okay,
coercing fellow players and fans by using her false identities to her advantage.
okay. It's all false identity, right? What the so-called AI voice? I mean, I'm kind of like I'm kind of seeing the AI voice. Now cheating, okay, dude, just get to the point.
First, we'll of course dive into her cheating, creating a basis for her flaws. As what's the number one thing when a player does when they want to get good but can't? Cheat, of course. Marlow cheats in two main ways, through macroing and just straight up blatant exploiting. During her clips, highlights, and videos where she displays her screen, she utilizes macros to create pitch perfect mechanics, so people don't see that she's actually hacking. Furthermore, this also explains her ability to hotkey in every single game mode down to a T, no matter which game mode it is. And every single time, she does it perfectly. I mean inhumanly perfect. During her tier tests, or times where she's not required to show her footage, she will abuse this opportunity to blatantly hack, which can be seen through multiple clips against different players where she's just blatantly reaching.
Now, okay, so let's pause right here. So like, I'm not familiar with majority of hacking clients, besides vape client or whatever vape is, because I think vape is mainly like was it vape or light? I don't remember. Someone has to fact check me on this, but but like, I believe vape is mainly towards like 1.8 people on the player base on 1.8 mainly uses that because vape is like very good at keeping the players hidden from any anti cheat or whatever. So yeah, like, and that's why I kind of avoid 1.8 because like, dude, like there's no getting good at that version of Minecraft anymore because of the fact that there's so many people who have unfair advantages. So I'm like, yeah, like I'm done 1.8, so here I am. So anyways, so again, like I can't really come up with much opinions because again, I don't really know how to analyze like hidden cheats or anything like that. I mean, like I can tell by common sense, like for example, like if somebody has like anti knockback or like reach or like freaking, like freaking, like the old school kill aura. But yeah, like I can't really see, if they're cheating or not, just by like closely, like analyzing. Like I'm way too dumb for that.
or using hitboxes. I'll first cover her macro abuse. In the description is a document containing hard evidence of her using macros. The first thing to mention is that Marlow blends all her videos.
Now I don't know what macros is. Like hard macros. Let's see this. Over this document, I will cover proof of Marlow, stunning. Wait, hang on a second. Is my recording even showing this? Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, so over the document, I will cover proof of Marlow macroing, stun slams, and mace. I don't know. I do not know what macroing means. Stun slam, macros, attribute space macros, respawn anchor macros. I don't know what macros are. I don't. Someone has to explain to me on what macroing is. I have no idea. I think that he'll explain that to
Which
me later.
allows them to be smoother, but also helps cover up flaws.
What do
The
you
way
say?
all her videos, which allows them to be
Oh,
smoother, but also helps cover up flaws. Marlow blends all her videos, which allows them to be smoother, but also helps cover up flaws. The way the document creator analyzed her macroing is by counting how many frames each of her mechanics last, like stun slamming, attribute swapping, and anchoring. The more similar the number of frames each mechanic takes up to occur, proves macroing, as it displays the perfect ability that macros have to do actions.
I don't know what macros are.
Our first example is her famous Stun Slam, the skill she's known for in Mace. In her video, Tier 1 Minecraft Mace PvP montage, she does a total of 5 Stun Slams, each of them being in this exact order, from sword to axe to mace to sword. The first clip, the Stun Slam hotkey switching, takes 7 frames to occur. Then the next Stun Slam also takes 7 frames to occur. Then another also takes 7 to occur.
You know what? Let's do the bold move. Let's find the video. All right, so here's the video. This is Marlo's video, by the way. I don't own it. Again, I do not own her footage at all. Whatever. So I think he said like at 19. I think like 7 frames. Two. So he switched to mace. Okay, wait. Let's look back at this.
Occur. Then the next Stun Slam also takes 7 frames to occur.
7 frames to occur. Like what? Like I don't understand macroing. Like what do you mean? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't understand macroing. So somebody has to tell me in the comments what the hell is macroing? I have never heard of that. I have never heard of that.
Occur. Then another also takes 7 to occur. I'll let you guess how many frames the last 2 Stun Slams took to do. 7.
What was 7? So what? Like, do each stun slam have to be like randomized mainly? It can't be the same thing, huh? I guess because obviously every playstyle is unpredictable and every playstyle is flawed in some way. So I guess it's saying that that this is obviously inhumanly good timing. So okay, I think I'm
Our
understanding.
second example is her attribute swapping. Now this is an easier but still difficult move, and still needs perfect timing to occur.
Yeah. I'm still trying to learn that move and axe and mainly axe.
In the same video as before, she does an attribute swap. a total of 76 times, from sword to mace,
Okay, that's crazy.
then back to sword. And nearly every single one of those attribute swaps lasts 3 frames, with only 2 being 2 frames. Even faster. Because the video isn't 60 FPS, that means the times she takes to change her item in her hotbar, on average, is 1/60th of a second. Doing that kind of input with your own hands is not humanly possible.
Okay, I see. Okay.
To keep the macro part shorter, we'll cover a shorter example for the last bit. In her video about her totem pop counter mod, near the end we can see use of a respawn anchor macro. Of her placing the anchor, then lighting it. She does this 5 consecutive times, and all of her anchors take 7 frames to happen. In
So you watch every
5 consecutive
anchor. You don't even have to slow it down to see every anchor is perfectly timed.
times, and all of her anchors take 7 frames to happen. Insanely consistent.
Okay, let's go to that video. One moment. Alright, so here we are back in Marlow's channel. So if we scroll all the way, what, with 39, right? 39. So, one, two. I'm going to assume I'm doing this right. I don't know. Takes 7 frames for each anchor. I don't know. Oh boy,
Times.
okay.
And all of her anchors take 7
Again, I don't know what macroing
frames
is.
to happen. Insanely consistent. Logically, her consecutive anchoring would lead her to want to use her macro. We all know Marlow likes to finish her opponents quick, and this is how. Next is her blatant hacking. In a video of the creator Corrupted, he fights against Marlow. Most people point out her insane attribute swap shield disable at 20 minutes in, where you can't even see her switch to the axe, which is,
Huh, okay.
of course, another display of macroing. But what people don't mention is what happens right after. At 20:05, not even 5 seconds after the display, she literally so blatantly uses reach. I mean, come on, that cannot be justified.
I mean, like, I've seen players hit me from that far sometimes, especially during tests and low tier. Huh. I feel like if all the higher players kind of cheat too, I have a feeling, but I don't know because Kenro has done this before. I've seen my friend Lucas also done this before where they hit me that far away. Even people accuse me of also hitting 4 blocks away when obviously I don't cheat. I am too dumb to even use. I'm too dumb to even use hacks or even figure out how to really like on how to really freaking use them or even to even use them. And plus I'm on Linux too. I don't think all the popular hack clients support Linux, so.
Whatsoever. Even with client-side issues, that is just so far from him, and she's barely even staring at his hitbox. She does this exact same thing in another video against... I don't even know how to say that. At 3:46, she replicates that reach no-look move again. When I say exact, I mean exact. Literally putting these images side by side, they look the same. And if this wasn't enough, we have one final example, another famous clip against flow tips. Keep this one in mind for later. At 18:58, Marlow is seen flying, not knockback, too quick to be knockback. Straight up flying. There's no justifying this, as you can clearly see, the flight pattern matches her head movement, slowing down in velocity as she turns, and also when she releases shift. My theory is, she fat-fingered shift in this movement, just tapping it by accident. Keep this section in mind for our next part.
Okay, we're on the next part. I mean, again, before we move on to, I guess, her being accused of, having an AI voice and probably, like a 40-year-old man type crap, again, like, I also kind of fly off to around players as well. It has happened to me, it has happened to my friends, and happened to other, my opponents too. Sometimes, again, my ping isn't perfect whatsoever. Sometimes I get a massive lag spike, and that happens. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Like I'm probably wrong about that. like about that being not enough evidence. But now also, like one thing to note, all people have the right to keep their, their privacy private. Obviously, not everybody wants to have their face up there. Not everybody wants to have, like I guess the real, like I get the real voice out there for some reason. I don't know, but again, like it doesn't really make sense on why you want to, it does not make sense on why somebody wants to pretend to be a girl, PvPer, and like and go through the whole issue of like of having an AI voice or whatever. It doesn't make sense to me at all on why. But again, there are people who would go through that extreme length just to I guess have a some kind of reputation. I don't know. It's again like it still don't make sense to me.
Industry plan. A musician who appears to rise organically but is secretly backed by a powerful label support, hidden funding, or industry connections, regardless of merit or skill. Sound familiar? Let me reword it. Rapture. A player who appears to rise to high tier 1 base normally, but is secretly backed by a powerful authoritative support, regardless of his lack of mechanics and game sense. Rapture's existence proves itself as a side of Marlow's manipulation and false identities. Many people point out Marlow's AI voice. Now here's the kicker, she's real. Her voice isn't AI. In RKY's video, I mastered Minecraft PvP in 5 days. At 8:30, you hear her real voice, with a bad microphone. It's definitely her, and it's definitely real.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
going to show you is called the Pearl Flash. That's really useful for if you're coming in for an encounter. You can
But here's where I
Okay, so that proved right there that okay, well she is real. Okay, so she is in fact a girl. She is in fact okay. Okay, good. Okay, cool. We got out the way. She is in fact a lady. Okay, cool.
contradict myself. Her voice is enhanced by some sort of AI. As you can hear the emotion in her voice in the RKY video, but you find a lack of it in an important video.
Now that is also where it also hits me too, because like obviously felt personality and her voice in RK White's video when he was trying to learn PvP for the first time, because he was, like against Mindman. I totally forgot that he went against Marlow there for, for Crystal. But anyways, though, you know, the fact that, like I heard her voice there, I guess, on a clip of supposedly Rapture's video, I guess, her voice did sound like unnaturally, non so human.
I give $100 to Marlow for every kill she gets. When they converse, Rapture is so obviously AI, you can't even hide it. He's so monotone. We don't know the true relationship of Rapture to Marlow, whether he's a close friend, a sibling, or the current rising theory. Rapture is Marlow's alt, which explains the need to hide his identity and or use an AI voice.
Now, here's what I do have a question on why Marlow would have an alt to go to move on to doing high tier 5-1. I don't understand. Like, why would Marlow want to have an alt? Get that alt to high tier 1 normally. I don't understand why.
Also, you're telling me this random Minecraft YouTuber who just showed out of nowhere has the ability to give a person $2,500. Just like that.
That too. That also makes no sense.
Think about this logically. This is not Mr. Beast, bro. Do you think the average YouTuber can afford to do something like that? Especially at his channel size? No, what's my point? Rapture was planted to get number 1 mace. He shows up out of nowhere and just rips the spot away from Alien. Right after Marlow nerfs Alien's playstyle, and he also receives a staff position with that. The fact he's Marlow's ult is further evident through his own dive into exploits. I won't go into detail about his own endeavors of hacking, but he's already been exposed. Like literally been exposed. There's no justifying him at all. He failed his screen share and even did a similar flying movement to Marlow.
Okay, regular report on Raptor screen share. So, failed doing a single brain swap or stun slam during screen share. Everyone had been stun slammed for within 2 ticks of each other. Took 7 minutes to join the first took 7 minutes to join the first screen share VC while screen sharing. Sure, he said he was against Matrixian, but it still shouldn't have taken that long. His ground is the skill of a low tier 2 plus SMP player while never touching SMP as well as 1.21 PvP. He claims his stun stamps, which are extremely fast, are performed single clicking. Whenever he breach swaps, he double clicks. Whenever he was attempting to perform a breach swap, his screen share he wasn't double clicking. This is a bug with Grim Client recently patched up. Okay. When doing a high MS fight, he vaped in. He refused to do EU cap PvP for both parties to have lower ping because he didn't trust the IP leaking server. What? Keep in mind, he never joined a cap PvP before. I don't think there's a single staff member tester mod that believes it. Okay.
Well, now you may ask, why is he so blatant? Marlow's not that blatant. I mean, she is blatant. Because it's not the main account. Marlow just needed something to get top 1 on Mace. She doesn't care if he gets banned or not. Because in the end, who gets to take number 1 after he's gone? Not Alien, but her. But even so,
Oh, okay. I see
he's
things
protected,
cooking.
untouched, defended by the authority, protecting his spot even after all the truth's told. We don't know what the future is for Rapture, but this gives us some sort of idea on how Marlow hides her identity and why she would need to, as it helps her manipulate the community that she owns. Rapture was placed to take Alien's spot so that Marlow wouldn't look so suspicious.
Okay, that actually okay. Well, that's actually a type of villain type freaking bombshell right there. Okay, that's actually really that actually really does make sense in some ways, you know. However, again, I'm still gonna take this with a grain of salt. But if evidence do come out with okay, well, Rapture is an old, well, that's crazy then. You know that's actually insanely crazy. The fact that somebody would go high heels just for a high tier 1 spot, like okay, your high tier 1, that's. I mean, again, it is. I mean, like I bet getting high tier 1 or even low tier 1 is such an amazing feeling because you earned it by sheer hard work. But like, still like I wouldn't go through all that just so I could get high tier 1 or low tier 1. I don't know. That's weird. But again, if Rapture somehow is a real dude, then I would expect a full on video saying, hey, this is me. But whatever. The cover ups. Okay, part 3. This is getting interesting.
In the end, her orders are absolute. She is the authority. Which is why,
The authority of who?
because she owns everything, she should not be allowed to be at the top. Not only for the integrity of the tier list, but the image of the community. That's just
Okay.
it. Usually people would confront this sort of thing, question it. But she's completely manipulated the community into praising her, defending her in every single.
I mean, not everybody, I mean, take me for example, well, like every time me and Kenro are in a playthrough that that I hardly ever record, we always just make fun of her, be like, okay, well, she's a high tier player, so what? We can probably beat him. You beat her easily. I don't. I mean, again, like it's just petty stuff like that. It's funny though.
Actions, which is so many examples throughout the entire community. Our first visible notation.
Wait, what? Is it even a huge problem, even if you cheated? So that's what I actually kind of almost. Okay, so that's what I actually almost said, but at the beginning of this video. But yeah, that is a retarded take. Like it is a huge problem if she has cheated because basically she's lied about everything and the fact that she basically stole people's opportunities to being a tier that they should have been basically.
Our first visible notation of her manipulation is use of her gender. No, wait,
Gender.
I'm sorry I said that, but it sounds weird at first.
Girl equal good equal cheat 99%.
The fact that she's female has contorted the way the community thinks on haters.
I mean, I mean, yeah, he has a point. Being a girl, guy, fish. It doesn't matter what you are. If you're a cheater, you're a cheater. That goes with relationships as well. Like it doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy. But cheating is obviously wrong, and you shouldn't do it. It's morally wrong, and you shouldn't do it. Same thing here. I do not care if you are a girl, a guy, or a freaking fish. Freaking. You ain't. Yeah.
With the idea being, you're just coping with a girl's better than you. People in this community are so ignorant that they just straight up move to her gender just to create a justification of everyone accusing her. Because it is so set in stone that you must support Marlow no matter what. Our second visible notation of her manipulation is the malicious gossip rule. This rule is placed to prevent people spreading false rumors about each other, especially about cheating. Inadvertently, this protects her from people speaking up about her cheating. If she wasn't cheating, why would this be a problem? It's like taking offense from something that isn't true about you, then retaliating. It's okay to take offense, but retaliating has no reason to occur and just proves further accusations. People are afraid to speak up, especially top players, about this sort of thing because they are afraid of losing their hard-earned rank. Top players would be the
Honestly, I'm low tier 4 and everything. I really don't care about my rank. Even if I were to have like high tier 3 or something like that, I honestly wouldn't really care because like it's just a rank on MC PvP. It's just a rank on a website. It's just a rank on on a server. The rank doesn't really define you as who you are as a player. It shouldn't define you as who you are as a player. Because honestly, to me, what defines the player is their integrity and their maturity is what defines a good player to me. Like the ability to be good and to also take losses is a great player in my in my book, especially to those who are who aren't that good at the game or who are decent. The ability to willingly take a loss and ask okay, well, what did I get wrong, or can you teach me? That's the players that I believe are top players in my eyes, because the fact that you take a loss and you want to learn on why you lost, and the fact that you aren't being so a big baby about it, like, oh my god, you're such a you're such a freaking cheater, white, whatever.
the best people to know about it, yet they speak a lack of it. Especially Swipe, a top 3 player who consistently defends her as well.
All these claims are actually valid, since we aren't 100% sure about Marlow's client use. But clips do prove suspicious, but we for sure know she Magros, okay? Okay, so, Swite. Swite. I don't care about him either. But again, like he says, there's not really enough evidence. Regardless, there isn't a lot of it. There's not solid evidence. But I guess the macroing is a full-on thing now. I guess because the evidence is actually right there. Like because like they did their analysis and like, okay, cool. But other than that, again, I don't know. Again, like at this moment, like I don't believe she cheats, or I kind of, or like I believe, or to me, like I don't believe she's cheating to a certain degree that people may think. But again, cheating is still bad. Like cheating is still bad. Um, at the end of the day, I apologize for my speech.
To be in good standing with her, because he is in her tier list. The final sign of her effects on the community is the cope.
The
People
cope.
have developed the idea that people are just sad that she's so much better than them that they feel the need to accuse, and hate on her. This is so set in stone that people just develop this ideal when they enter the community, and it works all in the favor of Marlow. The fact is, a lot of the community is on the younger side, or just full of ignorant people, not willing to educate their perspectives on this topic. They choose to make an opinion by just looking what the big creators have to say and what everyone else says. They take no actual time to understand the facts and the information that we're giving them. Like, they accept Swite's comment as pinpoint evidence immediately. There's so many videos contradicting and saying this otherwise, but because a top 3 player defended her, it immediately means it's true. What I have to say is that Marlow, be better.
In the end, we don't know if she uses client hacks, but we are certain on a few things. That is true. That is true. Okay. I mean, like again, again, I haven't seen much of solid evidence, but I guess from seeing this, I guess she is cheating in some sort of way, and and if it is found out that Rapture is an old account, you know, then that is crazy. Okay, because honestly, I didn't even care about Rapture. I mean, it was weird that yes, he did come out all of a sudden, but again, like a lot of people come out, like out of nowhere, and they become, the best player. But yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. It's a crazy situation.
Stop
Anyways,
controlling this community just for your own growth and status. Get it right. And for those who still don't believe me, please just educate yourselves. There's so many clips of her and Rapture hacking. Just take some time. This is all so obvious. Stop forming your opinion on you're mad because you're bad.
mad because you're bad. That is true. But again, majority of players are still gonna say, okay, well, guess what? Well, you're bad. But yeah, so sort of what like I can take from this, yeah, this is pretty wild to me in some ways, But again, if it does turn out that she's that she's cheating, then oh well, like it is what it is. The whole, her entire career would probably be over. And the fact that majority of people are making videos like me, I'm gonna get on this content train because I have nothing better to do because I need to start getting more subscribers. Hopefully, this gives me. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I don't care if I get subs for this, but subs or not actually. But yeah, it's crazy. But however, my opinion still kind of stands. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I do believe she's cheating too now. cause cause mad growing. Okay. Mm. Because any sort of unfair advantages, no matter how big or small, should still be bad. But I'm still gonna say that I'm in the middle of this. I really don't care, but it's just funny and cool to look into it. Now let's see. Let's look at these comments here. Still can't screen share. See, that's the thing. Like I am still on the side with yes. When you are trying to go for like any tier that's above high tier 3, maybe you should screen share. You should screen share your playthrough and possibly a hand cam too, if you can, just to prevent any unfair advantages. The funny thing, despite the video that comment even said in DMs with someone that Marlow cheats, but obviously the people who love Marlow don't know that and will just claim anything. Really? No, that's crazy. Okay, a lot of people use the topic of new. Anyways, I'm gonna upload this.